Good morning. This is August the 3rd, Friday at 9 o'clock. This is continuation of our regular scheduled meeting of the Board of County Commissioners from July 31st, 2018. Please rise for the flag salute.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Well, thank you all for coming back for our continuation. We've gotten through items 4, 5, 6, 10, and the consent agenda 24. And we will go back to item 3, any citizen desiring to be heard. Hearing none. Ma'am.
I just would like board to readdress when we're at the end, an item on the consent agenda of number 24, which would be blanket purchase orders. We had a couple that didn't get signed.
Okay, approved blankets. We will readdress that. Okay, so we'll start off with item 7. Consideration and possible action to review applications and appoint member to Logan County, Oklahoma Jail Trust Authority. It's my understanding we only had one applicant.
That's all I received.
Oh,
Yeah,
I know
And that was...
all this is for excise.
That was...
Roy Kemp.
Roy
Counts, yeah, I know Roy counts.
I'll make a motion we approve.
I will second that.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve Roy Counts as the new member of the Logan County Jail Trust Authority. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes without objection. Item 8, consideration and possible action on approving contract with ACOG for REAP grant number 04-2018-10 in the amount of, $34,000, $429.61. Or for District 3.
I'll move we approve.
Yeah, you beat me out, so I'll second.
Okay. The documents that came from ACOG, they're set up just for,
Chairman.
no, they're actually set for the commissioner who's receiving. And the way they want is they want it submitted with a copy of the minutes where it came from the board. So that's kind of how they do their paperwork.
Okay. I will move we approve this REAP grant.
Oh, second.
Have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes without objection.
Thank you, guys.
Can all three of us sign on at all?
Mhm.
Great.
It gets submitted with the minutes that they see it came to the board.
Now this next one, the max is 55 grand. So,
Well, you had got, I think, the last two that Logan saw,
That's
so
correct.
it was good for
Oh, yeah,
District 3 to get
absolutely.
one.
no issues other than I wish it was mine instead of his. Oh well. If wishes were horses, every one of my roads would be paved right now. Oh well. All our beggars would be riding on asphalt.
Yeah.
Yeah, oh well.
Are you talking about running?
Okay.
Well, there's something left over.
Moving on, item 9, consideration and possible action on approving FY 2018-2019 juvenile detention contract with Eastern Oklahoma Youth Services at $65.84 a day.
I'll move
Nice
we approve.
I'll make a
second.
motion.
Any further discussion?
Just so you.
Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes without objection. Item 11, consideration and possible action on interlocal cooperative agreement between Highland Trails Homeowners Association and Logan County related to repairs in said addition on Skyline Boulevard. This is the agreement that Lowell and we've worked out where the county can go in and do work on a privately maintained roadway in a housing addition without accepting responsibility for maintenance of the roads in perpetuity. So we're able to go in and do that. If they pay for the materials, then the county can use our equipment and personnel to perform the work for them.
Okay, but when you say private maintained, I mean, it's a public road, but it's privately
roads that are
maintained.
like these ones that are platted in
Right.
here that says that
Right.
where the county's not responsible to maintain the roads.
Right.
Right.
But it's not a private road. It is, but it ain't. I mean, it's privately maintained.
Actually though, Monty, the way the wording is in the statutes is that we could do that as well. But it has to be a specific cooperative agreement with a specific statement of work where the private road owner or owners, again, donate the funds to do it, and then the county can go in and use our equipment and people to do that with. But it has to be done on a specific agreement, a one-time only deal, right?
Go in, do it, thereafter is theirs to maintain.
Absolutely.
And we're not allowed to come back out on it.
Well, we're allowed to, but if we do, we have to enter into another specific cooperative agreement.
Yeah.
Outlining what our responsibilities are and what they're gonna pay for materials.
So what is the time limit on that? Just for that specific item, whatever time it takes, I would assume.
Well,
Project.
Just a project. That one project.
I'll make a motion with Bernie.
Yeah. I think I'll let Marvin second.
you gonna let me second it,
Yeah.
or are you gonna make me second it? Huh?
I'm sorry?
I said you're gonna let me second it or make me
Yeah,
second
I'm
it?
gonna let you, just cause
Just
I'm ornery.
because it's
But
election
I'll say
day.
aye on it.
I will second my own deal then. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes without objection. Item 12, consideration and possible action on approving resolution accepting $2,000 donation from Max Fairchild for District 3 for crushed asphalt to be placed on Midwest Boulevard between County Road 73 and 72. That sounds like a mile.
I'll make the motion.
Second Mike's motion.
All right, have a motion and a
Well,
second.
we
Any
really
further
like that
discussion?
stuff, don't they, Monty?
Yeah.
Any further discussion? Hearing none. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes without objection. Item 13, consideration and possible action on approving resolution accepting $1,000 donation from Leonard Bach to District 2 for culverts and road materials for Simmons Road.
I'll make the motion.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes without objection. Item 14, consideration and possible action on approving resolution accepting $477.60 donation from Will Hall to District 2 for culvert for 4455 South Douglas Road.
I'll make that motion as well.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
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 Motion passes without objection. Item 15, consideration and possible action on approving detention transportation claim for the month of June 2018 in the amount of $861.
I'll move with Bernie.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes without objection. Item 16, consideration and possible action on approving FY 2018-2019 maintenance agreement with Schneider Electric in the amount of $4,500 for the sheriff's office.
This isn't set up for signatures and I forgot to stamp it. So if you want, just set them up over here.
So what did they look over? Miss Snyder's.
I'll make the motion. My understanding it had to do with the kitchen, but I would need to confirm that.
Is that the ventilation oven overhead that,
The commercial kitchen equipment, that's what I understood. It might even have to do with the appliances as well.
That's a yearly maintenance agreement.
And that's what that's the way I understand it.
Yeah. I second the motion. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes without objection. Item 17, consideration and possible action on approving FY 2018-2019 maintenance agreement with Summit Mailing and Shipping in the amount of $136.75 for the sheriff's office.
I'll move we approve.
I'll second.
Have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes without objection. Item 18, consideration and possible action on approving FY 2018-2019 open fax messenger license and maintenance with CPI in the amount of $144 for the sheriff's office.
Well, I'll make the motion.
Share.
Yeah, buddy.
I'll second Mike's motion.
Have a motion and a second. Any further discussion?
I'll second.
Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes without objection. Item 19, consideration and possible action to approve agreement with Putnam and Company to provide FY 2018-2019 budgeting services.
Yeah, I'll make that motion.
I'll second, but Troy, I'd like for them to come in and talk to us again about timing and things like that before we get to the point of here's your budget. And,
okay.
I mean, I'd like to sit down and understand, you know, where we're going, what we've got in the budget, things like, you know, when we have an increase or decrease in an area, I'd kind of like to get a better idea of why those things happen, and whether it's, you know, an increase in collections, you know, or an increase in our insurance, you know, whatever the case may be. Yes, ma'am.
I guess what I'm trying to understand, he hasn't picked up the paperwork yet to even start. So are you wanting to meet with him before he does that, or?
Well, I would like to meet with them to first of all establish the schedule, right, of when we expect to have that back.
Okay. How about I begin with asking him
It doesn't
to
need to-
contact you?
It doesn't need to be a formal meeting here,
Okay.
but I do want to understand,
Okay, I'll shoot him an email.
kind of set expectations with both of us, right? All right. Okay, have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously. Item 20.
None. 21, 20 and 21, I have none.
20 and 21, we have none. Item 22, Monty's favorite subject. Consideration of possible action on approving the following permanent road crossing permits for Great Salt Plains. Those are crossing East 730 Road, crossing North 3000 Road, crossing East 680, crossing North 3000, and crossing East 740. Cross East 700, crossing East 730, crossing North 3000 twice. And if anybody wants to read the northings and eastings and ranges and all that stuff, they're right here to continue. We're crossing also East Road 700, 740, 680, with a 6-inch gas line 680, with a 10-inch water line 700, and that is all of the permits.
Make a motion to approve.
They're all yours, aren't they?
Yeah.
And I'll second.
Have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes unanimously. Item 23. Consideration and possible action on approving the following temporary road crossing permits for Terra Technologies and Select Energy Services. For Terra, parallel and cross County Road 71, 3/4 of a mile east of County Line Road 3,960 feet east. Parallel County Road 3000 and parallel County Road 3000. Those are for 12-inch water lines. For Select Energy, 4-inch water lines parallel County Road 67 for 3 miles, and parallel Broadway for 4 miles, and parallel County Road 67 again for 4 miles.
I'll make a motion to approve those.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes without objection. Item 24, the third item on the consent agenda, approved blanket purchase orders and various vendors for repair parts, etc.
Are they going deeper with these pipes than what the deal calls for? Do you know, Mike?
They normally do, but I ain't gonna say they always do. I got to say the temporary guys are getting better, but they're still a pain.
Their insurance covers if there's any kind of accident here, I think. They have to have permits for whatever it is they're putting through those water pipes.
I think we need to look into that deal that Kingfisher County, these old companies are starting to produce water to frack these wells.
Right.
What happens if we let them run a temporary line down our road, and then they're pumping salt water out of every junction of that pipe? Who's gonna be
I
liable?
think one of the things that we could do, because I've been kind of looking into that.
Gentlemen,
Make
I think we should
on
table
the-
this discussion.
I'm sorry.
I think we should table this discussion until we put it on the agenda.
That's fine.
Thank you.
Whatever.
I think we need to look into it.
I think that's a good idea. If you want to put it on the agenda, we'll be happy to.
I wanted to talk about it now.
Oh, you want to talk about it now? Well, in the context of temporary road
I was
crossing?
talking about salt water coming down the county road. Who's gonna be
That's what
liable?
I'm talking about.
That's for them.
Well,
That is what I'm talking about.
I'm not saying make a decision on it, I'm just sitting here talking about it.
Right.
I understand. We probably need to, there's probably something in the statutes on that, isn't there?
Something I want to talk about.
Do what?
When did we talk about it? During the commissioner minutes?
Yeah.
Commissioner time?
Yeah.
That's fine.
don't misunderstand me, we can talk about whatever you guys want to talk about, we just can't.
Yeah, I understand.
This was the blankets that he already read out.
Do I know this guy? Oh, okay.
So we all do another action on this? I mean, you already approved the consent, so is this gonna,
Blankets are in there. I'll defer to however you all want to do it. They're blankets. That's just part of the group.
no, I get it.
So we didn't approve any blankets during the last consent?
You
We
did.
did?
Yeah,
Didn't approve all of them? Okay.
get it going.
I just wasn't here for the first one, so.
I think that if you want to pull that out for those particular ones as a separate item, I think we can do that just fine.
Well, seems though this is a continuation, I'm not sure that it matters, to be honest.
Exactly.
It's on the agenda.
That was my feeling with going ahead and bringing them over.
Yes, ma'am. Great minds think. Alright. Getting caught back up here. Is that it? Alright. So that concludes the consent agenda. Move we approve the blankets that we've done today.
I'll second.
Have a motion and a second. Any further discussion?
Aye.
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 All right. Motion passes unanimously. Item 25, consideration of possible action on approving claims for July 2018.
Wait a minute, and I'll give you the right one. No, give me that one back. There you go.
There you go. I'll make a motion on that.
I'll second
Got
that
this too. Never mind.
Those
I
are all
will.
part of claims.
Yeah, I will. Make the motion, but I'll wait until after I get. Thanks.
motion, I second.
I thought he withdrew that motion.
Oh, did you withdraw your motion?
Well, I'll make the motion.
I'll re-second his
Okay.
withdrawal motion.
All right, I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously. Any citizen desiring to be heard?
Chairman,
Yes, ma'am.
we have an addendum.
An addendum. Didn't have that. Sorry.
Want me to share your copy?
Last one.
All right.
It
item-
is,
Go ahead.
The addendum, consideration and possible action on approving FY 2018-19 agreement in the amount of $15,600 per year for Logan County Sheriff and Cole Public Schools for one resource officer.
Yeah, I'll make that motion.
I'll second Mike's motion.
Have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously. All right. Now, back to the other agenda. Item 26, any citizen desiring to be heard? Randy? Okay, just, okay. All right, hearing none. Item 27, comments, announcements, and questions by the Board of County Commissioners.
Well, I've done a little inquiry on it, and all the permits they have for water, temporary water, require a permit from the state. And so they have permitting for that. They also have insurance that covers them for any kind of liabilities and such. That comes from the old company itself, you know, that's supplying that. What I think we need to do possibly is to make certain that coverage is extended to county for any liability should the county receive liability like what they had happen there in Kingfisher County. I don't know if you know the particulars of that, but to reiterate, a grader operator and trying to get the ditch taken care of, you know, work on it, apparently cut one of the water pipes that was carrying other kinds of effluent, and it spilled out, basically destroying a farmer's field, and they are suing or whatever. They're wanting to get that covered, and so they were also looking at the liability the county had on that. So I think the permits ought to make certain that Logan County is named in their permitting as to coverage should there be breakage. And I think that would take care of that. What do you think, Monty?
Yeah, I think we need to cover this salt water. I mean, I don't know if they ought to be moving salt water down county roads in a temporary line. If they want to lay a permanent line on private property, so be it. But these temporary lines, I ain't seen one yet that don't leak everywhere. And I just don't know that we need a lot of salt water running down our garbage. That's what I was getting to. But change the subject here, comments, announcements by the board. They called for a special CED meeting the other day. They didn't send out a notice asking if we can attend. They just sent it out, said, hey, we're having this meeting. But anyway, they had one agenda item, wanting to approve each county for $1,000 so they can travel to Washington, D.C. So I went to the meeting and told them my thoughts. It seemed like to me they was trying to hide behind the CED districts of making this travel claim. If it's a legit travel claim, you would pay for it, turn in a travel claim to the county, and then it's just up and up. But I couldn't figure out why they're trying to do it through a CED.
I think they used to do that,
Well, it's not right.
but I definitely remember the CD5 coming together and saying that's not right, and we're not going to fund anymore. And so I was kind of shocked when I saw that agenda item, and would have voted no
too, I personally think they're trying to hide it through the CED, but spending taxpayers' money of going on vacation is what I thought.
I saw the announcement come out, and the only person that was on it wasn't that the president or the chairman of the board called the special meeting. It was that the manager that works for the board called the special meeting. I don't think that that's right for a manager on her own to call a special meeting. I mean, not to take anything away from Troy, but Troy can't on her own just call a special meeting, except she's elected official. That's what makes it
Actually,
different.
just to clarify, the statute
Yeah,
does
go ahead.
allow the county clerk,
Yes,
specifically with that title, to call a
but it
special
doesn't,
meeting.
but it doesn't allow a CED manager
No.
to do that as far as open meeting laws are concerned. That's a decision that needs to be made by the board.
I will tell you that this county clerk has never acted on a special or emergency meeting without
That's kind of
contacting
why
my members.
that's why I made that assumption, because you're pretty good at that, Troy. You don't do that.
Is that what's
You
that
never do
said?
that. So,
Is that what? I don't know anything about it.
Yeah, I don't know who called the meeting. I just
I
didn't
don't
think it
either.
was right. And I personally thought that they're just trying to get away from answering to the taxpayers.
I thought
By
that
going through the
was,
CED.
right. Well, I mean, they used to buy food, beverages, and all sorts of stuff with taxpayer money out of CED funds.
Right.
And Monty, thank you for raising that issue back a couple of years ago. They quit that finally, so now they've got vendors buying lunches for people.
And that ain't right
That
either.
ain't right either.
so
Exactly.
you talked, Marvin, you did talk to Zach Cabot, and that is who called the meeting was Harold.
Are you making an assumption there?
I'm asking if that's
think you're
where
making an
that
assumption.
knowledge came from.
Well, anyway, but while I was down there, I mean, this whole ACO conference every 3 months, I would like to get the numbers of how much taxpayers' money's been spent on having this conference, and setting up bouncy houses and barbecue wagons, and I just think the whole thing's wrong myself.
Well, I definitely can second that.
Just my opinion.
Might want to get with Chris Schroeder or somebody like that to get an accounting of that. They have an old guy, I can't remember his name, that is the accountant. I'm pretty sure they could get you that information.
So do you think it's right they do it, or?
No, I don't. And I don't participate in it either.
I mean, I don't want to be the representative down there if I'm not representing what y'all want, so.
I think you're doing a great job.
I just think they're wasting taxpayers' money and it ain't right. That's all I got to whine about.
Couldn't agree with that stronger. Thank you. Ma'am?
If I may ask the board, have any of you received email from CED 5 with the CERD numbers that we're supposed to be working with? Because I'm working on week number 3 that I haven't got it, and we have a Monday meeting,
Haven't seen it.
so I didn't know if I just did not receive it.
Well, they've been busy at the conference. Got bouncy houses and
How would you all like to?
So here's how I would like to proceed when we get to that point. We do have it on the agenda. We do have an ODOT rep that has made a commitment to be here. ODOT's the one that actually provides the numbers for that kind of stuff. They've talked about, they've already said that we've been given some numbers for at least one of the projects that they said was scrapped, and now it may not be. And through the course of that discussion, we'll uncover
Okay.
what funds that we have available to work with for our next 5-year plan.
I just wanted the board to know that I have not received what I told was
Didn't Harold tell you
coming.
she's gonna email you?
I've been
3
told
weeks
that
ago.
3 times now, and
Yeah.
it has not happened. So I don't want the board to think that I'm not prepared. I haven't received.
Well, you're not prepared, you don't have them.
There you go.
That's all I had to complain about, so I'm good. But I think we need to Sunday have an agenda item on the water crossings, water lines. I'm not ready though. I don't have enough information myself.
All right.
I did
Well,
have another item on floored by the cost for potholing one of those pipes. I've got that project out there on Luther, and they're looking at many thousands of dollars to pothole that sucker just to see how deep it actually physically is. And I would like to come up with a method and they could permanently mark where those pipes go across the easement. And what I've come up with was just get a metal plate, put a pipe on it, put the numbers on it, and put it right there at the edge of the easement. I think that if we put that in our permitting, I don't believe it would cost them very much. And we would then, anytime we grade or do anything else that's safety sensitive on those pipelines, we would know specifically and exactly how deep those pipes are by just checking that on the side of the road. So I'd like to come up with something to put in the permit addressing that.
The only thing, you'd have erosion and, I mean, it
Correct.
wouldn't be exactly accurate, but it'd be close.
Well, you have that pipe going up, you could bead on there the number of feet down to that pipe. And as long as that pipe remained intact, which ought to be quite some time, you'd be able to delineate specifically how deep that pipe is at all times, regardless of erosion. And so I'd like to come up with something like that to go into our permitting. Otherwise, I don't have anything.
Okay, item 28.
I'll make a motion.
I'll second, we're adjourned.